Welcome to Amalthea Cellars. My name is Holly Malfitani, and today I will be your sommelier guiding you through our first ever harvest flight, where you will be tasting 5 of our all-star wines, and along with those wines is an optional food pairing sheet. And this is where this cool card comes in, where you are guided to some of our cheese, charcuterie, and chocolate to pair with these wines if you choose. So, as a thank you, we would like to offer a 20% discount today only on any food item in our store. So at this point, if you haven't already done so, please pause our video and head over to our store where one of our associates would be happy to help guide you in a food pairing to go with this wine. And I encourage you as a sommelier to explore your palates. So whether you want to work off of this suggested pairing or explore with your own tastes and interest, please feel free. Either way, we're going to have a great time. So at this point, you can pause your video or you can continue to get started. So first up in our harvest flight is Traminette. Now, if you are familiar with Amalthea Cellars, you probably have tasted Traminette already. But did you know that Traminette is a hybrid grape? Well, what does that mean? A hybrid is a grape that has parents from 2 different grapevine species. And in the case of Traminette, that would be Gewürztraminer, which is indigenous to Europe. It's a vinifera grapevine. Think of Alsace, one of its noble grapes. And the other parent is Seyval Blanc, which is a Labrusca grapevine indigenous to the United States. So, you put those 2 grapes together for a night and you get Traminette. And in this case here, Traminette flourishes on the East Coast. So what you're going to get in this glass is an amazing bouquet of blossoms. All types of citrus blossoms, cotton blossoms, a hint of perfume. It's really the embodiment of this secret garden here at Amalthea Cellars. So go ahead and grab your glass of Traminette, swirl it around to release the volatile compounds in the wine that really allows you to breathe in all of the esters of the wine. And everything you taste are really smells that are on your palate. It's what we call flavors. So swirl it around. Make sure you get a good look at it too. Everything counts here. Sight, smell, taste. It's such a beautiful, clean wine. Highly aromatic. So go ahead and taste it. And let it coat your tongue for a moment before having some food with it. So if you did take advantage of your 20% coupon today, and you went in and got some cheese and charcuterie and or chocolate to pair with these wines, what we suggest is pairing this Traminette with either the smoked Gouda, and that would be an opposite here. So the smoked Gouda has an opposite texture of this wine. So the Traminette will help cut through the fat of the Gouda, but also the smokiness will attract the wine as well. So it will really ignite those flavors. The other wine the other cheese that we suggest to pair with the Traminette is our goat cheese. And goat cheese is an excellent cheese pairing because it has a lot of acidity. And this wine also still has a beautiful amount of acidity. And I say still has because it's a 2011. Yes, folks, that's right. Take a look at the bottle, 2011 vintage. So whoever said you can't age a white wine didn't have our Traminette. So go ahead and try it. If you do have some of those cheeses in front of you, take a moment to have your cheese, take a sip, have your cheese, take a sip. And if there is anything else that you brought with you today or chose from our store, go ahead and take a sip with that and see what works on your palate. And don't be afraid to take notes. So this way you can go back and look at your tasting notes tomorrow, next week, or in a year from now. So if you would like to pause your video to enjoy this wine with some of your food, go right ahead. Or if you'd like to continue your video and save the rest of your wine for after the flight, you're more than welcome to do that as well. The next wine in our lineup is our Chardonnay Sur Lee. Also hails from the 2011 vintage. And on this wine, you're going to automatically get a deeper, more golden color. And that also has a lot to do with the fact that it's Chardonnay, but that it's a 2011. So it does have a little bit of age on there now. What's great about this Chardonnay Sur-Lie, well, there's many things, but first off, Sur-Lie, it means age on its lees or yeast. So the way we do that is the wine, that all of the wine, the juice, is laying on the sediment in the barrel. And this one was aged in Hungarian oak. So the lees aging helps to give it more of that ginger snap, a touch of bread dough or biscuit-like on the palate, a long creamy vanilla finish. All signatures of yeast or lees aging. But the Hungarian oak also enhances that as well. Synergistically works with the lees aging because Hungarian oak, like French oak, is a little bit more subtle and spicy baking spices on there than American oak. And this is made with our Chardonnay Dijon clone that's grown right here at Amalthea Cellars. So it's 100% estate grown and 100% New Jersey. So, wow, on the nose you're really going to get a complex roller coaster of flavors coming through. It's so elegant at the same time. Fresh ginger, baking spices, a ginger snap, so you're really getting that that aroma coming through all the way up that carries over on the palate, along with some tropical notes that are pulling through, a little bit of passion fruit, ripe mango, which is really exciting because the way this wine is aging is just beautiful. Definitely would pair it with something elegant. And if you are following along on our tasting sheet, our suggested pairings, we did recommend the Formaggio, which is like a creamier pecorino with sun-dried tomato in it. So you're getting the creamy texture with the savory notes on there. And also the Pepper Asiago. So you can see that the spicier flavors play to the fruit and the ginger spice of this wine. I've actually had this wine with a pepper steak as well, and it worked incredible. So at this point you can pause the video to enjoy your cheese or charcuterie if you chose, or you can keep the video on and save the rest of your pairings till the end. The third wine in our Harvest Flight lineup is none other than Lita. And again, if you are familiar with Amalthea Cellars, you have probably tasted Lita before. So, a little history on Lita. Here at Amalthea Cellars, we are named after the third moon of Jupiter, Amalthea, which happens to be about the size of New Jersey. So, our winemaker and owner, Louis Caracciolo, decided to name all of his other blends after moons of Jupiter. Lita is another moon of Jupiter. So this is actually our second edition of the wine Lita, and this one is a blend of white and red grapes done in the Tavel style rosé. So Tavel, that is a amazing region in southern France, perhaps considered the gold standard of dry rosé. So yes, what you are getting in this glass here is a dry rosé, but it is so thirst-quenchingly juicy and silky on the palate. You can see right away that it's a beautiful color, almost like a strawberry meets orange peel on the color here, a little bit on the hue and the rim of the glass. On the nose, you're definitely getting some of those light, fizzy strawberry notes. You're also getting a touch of orange blossom on here, a swirl of smoke that comes through. And it transfers all the way to the palate. And this wine would pair amazingly with ceviche. You take this wine home, you whip up a batch of ceviche with some fresh squeezed lime juice, a little bit of orange zest or some orange juice, and you are good to go. For our suggested pairings, if you are following along, we do suggest the goat cheese. The nice acidity and the creaminess of the goat cheese would just melt with this wine. And also the Maralumi chocolate that we sell by Michel Cluzel would be amazing with this, just as a fun afternoon snack or as a dessert. But the Maralumi chocolate is actually a dark chocolate, and flavors of banana and earth pop through on that chocolate bar. It's outstanding. Comes straight from his source in Papua New Guinea, and would go awesome with this wine because all of the flavors that come together would play off of each other. So if you haven't tried this Lido with the Maralumi chocolate, I highly recommend doing it. It's super fun. So at this point, again, if you would like to pause the video and enjoy your wine, then go for it. If you would like to if you'd like to continue the video and wait till the end, you can do so as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to get into the reds? I certainly am. And the first red that we have for you in our harvest flight today is none other than Carme. So Carme is the name of another moon of Jupiter, so it tells you it's a blend. And this is a blend of the grapes that you would find in the southern Rhone Valley in France. So think Châteauneuf du Pape in style. It is a seductive wine. And the grapes that make this wine up, this Carme, is predominantly Grenache, Syrah, and Carignan. 3 of the varieties that you would certainly find in the southern Rhone. So let's dive into this wine. And on the nose, you're getting your ripe cherry. You're certainly getting that smoked bacon fat on here. Hints of mulberry and strawberry. A little earthy bramble with crushed rosemary and thyme on here. Really, really play up the silky ribbon that ties it all together on here. Wow. This wine packs everything in. It is fruit forward with some spice. It has a little bit of that iron minerality and earthiness that comes through on here. Definitely would pair with anything barbecue, anything with a little orange zest, tanginess, barbecued ribs, pulled pork, burgers. We suggest to pair this with the Supersad and the Formaggio cheese and a little bit of that fennel, just like from hot Italian sausage, would just make the flavors of the Carme pop. So if you would like to pause the video and partake in enjoying the wine with some of the food that you may have, please feel free to pause, or we can continue right along. The last wine we have for you to taste in your harvest flight is Torino, our very first edition of Torino. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with Torino, it actually means on the ground in Portuguese. So, if you go into our store and look down at our cellar, we actually have a pyramid of barrels set up down there that is home to each of the blends that will eventually become the Torino in your glass. So what we actually do is bottle the very last row of that pyramid. And as we bottle that last row, a fractional blending takes place, a chocolate fountain, if you will, of wine that flows down from the top all the way to the bottom. And the blend will continuously change. So every time we bottle, the chocolate fountain erupts and flows down towards the bottom. Basically what that means is that each blend can never be duplicated. It's unique to every bottling. So this wine that you have here today will not be the same as the next bottling that you will get to taste. It is extremely unique. So, without further ado, let's dive into this wine. The nose just erupts with black tea and crushed violets, touch of lilac, ripe cherry, black cherry. A little cassis on here as well. Those same aromas come through on the palate, but that black tea definitely comes through on the finish. All up front you'll have red fruits, black fruit, that black cassis, some dusty tannins on here, a little bit of cocoa. It's very savory on the palate, and I would certainly pair this with a charcuterie plate. We suggested to pair it with the sopressade and your formaggio, smoked mozzarella. Basically anything would go well with it. Blue cheese even. The richness and the creaminess of the blue cheese would really make the flavors in here stand out. The tea, a little bit of that licorice, and the cocoa. So I would certainly take your time with this wine. This will also age for you for years and just evolve in the bottle. But play around with it. Find what works for you for any of these wines. And remember, whatever you like makes it good. So you are your best taster. Thank you again for joining us today. I implore you to go in to our store, check out the Torino Pyramid, check out what we have to offer. Ask anybody, they'd be more than happy to help you out in our store. And you can also return these to the front counter in our store as well on your way out. But take your time, have fun, relax, and enjoy. And we'll be seeing you again. Thanks for coming out to Amalthea Cellars today.